I think he does get a little bored because it's not even like the number 3 or number 4 player in the world challenges him. It's just him in center living in this like fever dream that no one else is invited to. So everything else is kind of boring.
I like that. I like fever dream. That is spot on. Yeah, I think he's just waiting for Sinner, and Sinner is just waiting for Alcaraz at this point. Yeah, I think that's it. Uh, thank God they got each other.
And welcome to another episode of the Best of 3 podcast. I'm still Alvin, and we are joined once again by Pat Parr. My friend Pat, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, doing well. Still recovering from that, what I just watched about a week or so ago, but happy to be here. Happy to talk about it with you, unspool it all. So
Yeah, I
very
mean,
excited.
for those who are listening and not watching, Pat can hardly contain his excitement. So it is. It's Sunday. We're actually in the middle of the Shanghai event, but Pat lives in Japan and had an opportunity to go to the Japan Open, the Tokyo Masters event, and he hit me up. You hit me up last week or during the tournament. You're like, I saw Carlos versus Casper, and I need to talk to somebody about it. And I'm like, well, I got this little podcast here. You can talk to me about it, and 700 of our closest friends. So
Indeed.
I'm gonna get out of your way and let you just kind of. This is a safe space. Just
Okay.
pour out your tennis heart to me, Pat.
Yeah, feel free to veer me back onto the road if I go off road a bit, but I'll try my best. But well, it was September 29th. I saw Carlos play Casper. It was a Japan Open semifinal, and I'll just give away the score because it already happened. It's not like there's any sort of mystery, but Alcaraz won 3-6, 6-3, 6-4.
Yep.
And this was a Monday night match. And when I went to the area where it was at, it's Ariake Coliseum, I didn't have a ticket. Actually, I didn't think I didn't think I was going to be able to get in, and I actually gave up. So I went to the Coliseum Park area where there's this big screen and there's all these lawn chairs and tables and so forth, all these games for the kids, to hit a foam tennis ball and all that. And so I was just standing there watching, actually it was Brooksby playing Fritz before Alcaraz and Ruud. So I was watching Brooksby do his voodoo against Fritz, but since Fritz knows Brooksby's voodoo too well, he always beats Brooksby.
Right.
I think Brooksby is, side note on Brooksby, it's just watching him is fascinating because whenever he plays somebody for the first time, it's advantage Brooksby for the first set all the time.
It sounds familiar. So familiar, Pat.
It does. It does. Oh, I've gotten a few people who called me and said, I think Brooksby, he reminds me of you the most.
Yeah, for the listeners, so Pat and I we played college tennis together, and I don't think there's any video that exists, but Patrick Parr, handshake, Jensen Brooksby, the same guy.
I guess so.
But continue.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was watching Brooksby chop away at Fritz and trying trying his best with a two-handed backhand at the net and all that, but I guess while that was happening, there was this guy who was just putting his hand up, and I heard ticketo, and then I understood what he was saying, that, oh, I have tickets, and I thought, oh, is this just some sort of scalper who would pay, who wants to offload his tickets for like $500, $600 or something? So I went over to him and I said, you have tickets? And he's like, yeah. And then he directed me to the ticket area, and they had 5 tickets that had been unclaimed and canceled, and there was just this one row available in the entire stadium. The whole thing was sold out beyond. And after Fritz beat Brooksby, there was a little pause, and everybody was still in that stadium, just camped out, ready for Alcaraz and Ruud. And they said, yeah, go ahead in it. It would cost me about $70. So,
oh man, nice.
Yeah, it was incredible. And the seats, they were right in the middle. So I was if you go a straight line behind the umpire,
Okay.
uh, up on the second section area. So
Okay.
I was able to look both at Alcaraz and Ruud simultaneously on the middle side. So
Okay.
that was I went in and I was sitting with nobody at first because the row was empty, and then this one Filipino guy came up next to me on my left, and we looked at each other like, is this real?
Is
I
this
mean,
real?
are we really here? Like, did we get these tickets? So, so I'm just gobsmacked the whole time. And Alcaraz comes out, and I immediately, like, he already had the crowd. Like, Ruud
Yeah.
comes in, and he says, okay, Ruud, yeah, 3-time finalist.
Yep.
Great. That's a respect to him and so forth. But then Alcaraz just came out, and it was just an explosion of applause, of course. And I just kind of soaked it in at first. The first couple games I just wanted to watch. I didn't take any pictures. I didn't do anything. I just wanted to see how he moved and all. And I'd read so many articles and listened to you guys, you and Tori, about Alcaraz
Yeah.
and so forth. And I just thought, okay, I need to see him objectively, because I had seen Federer live.
Yep.
You've seen him live,
I
right?
saw Fed live in Australian Open 2015. Yep.
Okay. Whew,
Yep.
yeah. What a place to see him.
Yeah.
When I watched Fed, I remembered, wow, I don't hear his feet. Like, when he moves, it's almost as if he's floating. There's this element to his game when I watch him. It's so effortless and
Yeah.
light. It's hard to.
Tap dancing on water kind of feel.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. No, he's not Jesus or anything, right? We're not, but he's he he played the game as if there were no blemishes, and I always was in awe of that. And I did see Nadal briefly live, more practice. So I was at the Open, and I remember when I watched Nadal, and when he moved his feet, it was like some of the court might come up with his
Right.
movements,
Yeah.
like the way he dug in and would hit. Uh, and Djokovic, I watched as well, and he had this elasticity to his game, and it felt like he was just a rubber band, and
Yeah.
no one would ever pass him. So I'm watching Alcaraz, but it's weird. I was expecting to be underwhelmed, or to think, oh God, he's got a long way to go. But he he's in, he reminded me immediately, and this is so weird. He reminded me of '87 MJ.
Oh wow.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
wow.
I'm sorry,
Wow.
I'm jumping sports, but
No,
he.
that's yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm from Cleveland, and near Cleveland, and I've loved the Cavaliers since I was 6 years old. And I remember MJ when he was averaging 37.1, 35
Mm-hmm.
points a game, and he would just have the game completely in the palm of his hand the entire time. It was 1 versus 5, but he was fine with that. And there was this way that MJ could even work the crowd, as in, like, just take the air out of the whole arena when he was playing away games. But when I watched Alcaraz, I thought he has absolute command of this match, and more so than anyone I had ever seen since maybe Federer. But what makes him very different than Federer is the way that he handles the crowd. I've never seen someone have the crowd as well as Alcaraz. It's almost another weapon.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
That was my quick
So
take on it.
yeah, I'm gonna dig in on that. So I've never seen Nadal play a match. I've seen him
Mm,
practice at the Open as well. Actually, the same day, like right after I watched Carlos practice and
ah,
Louis Armstrong. I was, you go down there. This is a couple of years ago, but you get really close, like 5, 6 rows back, and I'm
mm,
just watching him go at it. I'm like, wow, this is unreal. Like this is
mm,
unreal. And then Nadal the same thing, but it's kind of tricky because you're getting snippets at times during practice. And then I've seen Djokovic from, first row right behind him in Miami on the practice courts, but then I've also seen him play a few matches in Miami as well. So I'm with you on the elasticity part. It's just like
Yeah,
he's like playing Pong, and like
that's
it's not
it.
getting
Yeah,
like you're not gonna get by him. It feels like he's 7 foot tall with these long arms, but he's not that big. Um,
right.
but the Alcaraz
Hmm.
comp to 87 Jordan, and I'm even having a difficult time putting words to it, but
Sorry.
it's so good because that's like physical. That's almost like physical peak Jordan, but he
Hmm.
hadn't quite like obviously they didn't win a championship until 91, but
Right.
he had all this stuff just oozing out of him at
Hmm.
the time. And then Carlos is a little more accomplished at this point, but still physically he's like unreal.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. When I watched him play Rude, I thought he has another level. He does. He does have one more level to get to. And that's how I did feel about MJ too in 87. Even when I was just a kid and I was watching him and he was destroying my team, I thought, uh, he's not there yet because people forget. Sorry to get basketball. I'll come right back to
No, we talk basketball a lot around here, so yeah, let it fly.
but people forget that how bad Jordan was at the three ball early in his career. Like he was I checked it earlier. He was 19 for 119 in
Mm.
those 2 seasons when he was 30. He was averaging 37 and 35 the next year in 87, 88. He was still he shot 119 threes and only made 19. He just didn't have a three at
Yeah.
the time. So with Alcaraz, it's different. There is one weakness I saw with him when he was playing Rude, and Rude got it immediately. Rude is, oh man, he is so smart, such a smart player. He knows exactly what he can do, and unfortunately, what he can't do. And
Right.
I watched after the match. I was so hyped up. I watched the 2022 final with Alcaraz
Oh,
and
okay.
Rude,
Yeah.
and I wanted to see, has Rude fallen? Like what happened there? And I think Rude has only lost maybe a quarter of a step of his quickness, and that's it. But his shots are pretty, um, I don't know, refined at this point. So his forehand is pinpoint. But I think his backhand, uh, no matter how much spin he tries to put on it, there's like this. The way the ball bounces is just perfect for
Yeah.
Alcaraz's
Yeah.
forehand. It's just, and I think for a lot of people who are 6'2" and higher, Rude's backhand is just, oh, please give me that backhand. I'm gonna mutilate it. And
Yeah.
I don't know how he can change to uh, for that, but
Well, I mean, like you said before,
yeah,
like he's made 3 Grand Slam finals, and if
right.
he's lost a step, it's minuscule, and it's probably less him
Hmm.
losing at this point. It's more like the players that are good enough to pass him, like Sinner, like Carlos, have usurped
Yeah,
him, but there's not that many players. Like he did
that
win a Masters 1000 like in Madrid this year, so
this is true.
he's
Yeah.
he's there. He's still
Right.
around.
Well, it's clay. I mean, for him, I think he has to hang in on clay. But
Indoor
anyway,
hard is
back,
gonna be tough.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah. I don't see that. I would love to play just one game with Rude so I could have that backhand. But not that my backhand was good, but mine was terrible. Uh, so okay, but yeah, going back to Alcaraz, the weakness, it was he lost the first set. So maybe people who are listening, they're like, well, Rude looked like he almost had him, but there was a you and Tori have talked about this. There's this moment in almost every match where Alcaraz just he checks out. It's like he goes to a
Yeah.
different place. And I was watching him. It was near the end of the first set, and there were critical points, and Alcaraz was just like staring at his finger for like an inordinate amount of time, like his left pinky. And I'm like, I'm like, dude, Rude's about to serve, and then he's like, oh, okay, and then he comes in and so not ready for Rude's serve, and like 2-3 points in a row, Rude wins, and suddenly that's it. The first set's over, and I think, Mike, why did it? What happened there? Like, was it just focus? Was it boredom? And I watched him a lot that night, and it's Alcaraz has like this existential boredom about him. I think he's
Ye-
bored. I think he's really
Yeah.
bored.
Well, there's this combination of like, I mean, we're at this point now where maybe I've lost track. He's
Hmm.
made 8 or 9 straight finals,
Yeah.
like going back to, I mean, maybe Barcelona. I don't know,
Mm.
sometime before the French Open,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
And so he's kind of shaken off that stigma of him being an up and down player, right?
Yeah.
Super,
Yeah. True. True.
atmospheric highs and then sometimes these weird lows within tournaments or
Mm.
within the season. Now he's kind of gotten it down to like it might happen in like a couple games here, maybe a set, but even his worst level of tennis is going to get him to the finals of an event. So to him being bored, it does seem like there's kind of two things at play, I think, and I'm going to get your thought on this. Like, one, I don't think he actually cares if he wins or loses. Like he's gotten to this point now where he knows he's better generally than the person on the other side of the net. And
Right.
if he wins the match or the tournament, great. If he doesn't, this particular match or whatever it is, it's fine because at the macro, he's gonna be all right. It's fine. He makes a lot of
That
money. He wins a lot of tournaments. Like any individual match outside of a Grand Slam, it's just like whatever.
right.
But so there's that, and then two, yeah, I think he does get a little bored because it's not even like the number 3 or number 4 player in the world challenges him. It's
Mm.
just him and center living in this like fever dream that no one else is invited to. So everything else is kind of boring.
I like that. I like Fever Dream. You're that is spot on. Yeah, I think he's just waiting for Sinner, and Sinner is just waiting for Alcaraz at this point. Yeah, I think that's it. Uh, thank God they got each other because I mean, it would be really weird because what one thing I was going to say about Alcaraz is just that boredom sits in, I think, when he even feels that the audience itself is expecting something. And like everybody thought, okay, Alcaraz is going to win this match. And
Sure.
then we were getting near the first set, and it was so clear. But, you know, I think the there was an instinctual feeling that he felt, oh, this wouldn't really be that special if I win this set. Maybe I don't know if he processes it or breaks it down that much in that moment, but there is a really deep connection that he has between himself and the crowd. Like if you go back and watch the final against Fritz, which I don't recommend because it was
I I watched it. I watched a
oh
set and a
yeah,
half. That was enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Poor
anyway.
Taylor. Yeah.
And then he gets absolutely exhausted in Shanghai against Pericard, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but anyway, so Alcaraz is up, I think 4-1 or something in the second, and it's almost as if Alcaraz is thinking, "This wasn't enough tennis for this crowd. This wasn't enough." you know, I,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play with my shots a bit, see what goes in, see what doesn't, and kind of just go from there. And that play, you can easily see Alcaraz can't really fake well. I think when I don't want to say tanking because that's a too loaded of a word. I'm not
Sure.
saying he tanks, but when he experiments, it's very obvious when he's going he's choosing shots that you're thinking, why what was that? And but it's just because he's so damn good at that top level that you're like, oh, okay, so he's having fun now. He's just having fun.
Right.
So that's what I noticed when I watched was with Rude. He knew in the entire time how the audience was feeling, and I got a few interesting things about changeovers that that probably are only for people who listen to this pod. It's
Like
a little
changeovers, like the actual changeovers, or changeover the book changeover.
no, not the book, which
Okay.
a great book, but no, they're just when they're changing over, like
Yeah.
on the odd games. So I never watch. It goes to commercial when we're watching it, or it goes away from someone or fan cams or whatnot. But I watched Rude's changeover process, and and then I watched Alcaraz's, and it was fascinating to watch how they sit in their process of getting through those 90 seconds.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know if this is boring or not, but
No,
I'll give it a shot.
I'm like I'm waiting for you to tell me what
All
you
right,
saw. I want
my
to
bad, my
know.
bad.
I'm
So,
invested here.
no, all right. So with Rude, he would, all right, he'd take his left hand in a water bottle and he would pour like a couple drops right on the top, like back center of his head.
Okay.
Just enough is the same amount each time. And then he'd do like this bit of a shimmy with his, to get it down into the rest of his hair, I guess. But
Yep.
he did that every single, and then he'd put one of those ice rope towel thing. I don't know
Yep.
what they're called,
They
but
call them like ice sausages now. Like
oh,
it's
are
like
they? Okay.
yeah,
Ice
I
sausages.
recently learned that. Yeah, ice
Yeah,
sausages.
I wanted to know. I wrote that a few times. I'm like, what is that thing? And I go, ice rope towel. Yeah. But all right. Yeah, that's better. Ice sauce. But yeah, he puts that around his neck and he's in a perfect stasis of recovery. He's thinking, okay, I'll stay this way. And then I'm just thinking about the next game plan. So he's so focused. Then I look over at Alcaraz. He's just sitting down. He's doing nothing. He's just staring around, looking a little bit at the crowd, just taking little sips of water. Um, his team of four are across from him to his right in the first row, and there, a couple. I don't think Juan Carlos was there, but
Okay.
uh, the one, four of them. One guy was like his hype guy, like, come on, you can do this, and I think another guy was his mixer. So this guy had this not mixer like a like a DJ or anything, but the drink mixer,
God, DJ
and
would have been cool if you had
yeah,
him in
would have
DJ. That'd
been
be awesome.
yeah, it would have. So Alcaraz, he doesn't do it much of anything. He has none of those meticulous Nadal processes, where
Right.
but he was just wrist flicking his water bottle, trying to get it into his bag without moving his body. It was just kind of he's like sip, sip, and then like just this little wrist flick type thing. And I thought, this guy is bored out of his mind because he knows he totally has Ruud, in his pocket, and he's just enjoying the crowd. He's enjoying where he's at. This
But
match was so fascinating.
it's so positive though because I think Alcaraz is one of these. He's one of these people that like, it's all about being in flow for him. Where it's like he's not too focused. He's not too spaced out. He's in this right like kind of homeostasis of
Yeah,
like a little bit of planning and like the right mix of spontaneity at all times. So like that's what that's what allows him to be so light at times. And we saw, not this year 2025 but 2024, especially from like Paris Olympics on through the US Open, he was
yeah.
not in that place. He was wound up, all kinds of wound up. And
Mm,
getting out of that, say March of this year, which is
yeah,
also
that's
part of
about
his
right.
maturation process. He's growing up. Like he's not yet 23, 22. He's still young. So,
Still,
um,
yeah,
but allowing himself to remain light and unencumbered allows him to play the kind of tennis that he wants to play and almost has to play. Like he can't do what other people do because
mm,
he will get bored.
that's
He
it.
will probably space a little bit. So, um,
I think maybe that will go away. I don't know, but I I know, and I know tennis it's the longest season of all the sports, right? I mean, it's just exhausting mentally to have to travel the world for all that time, and of course, it sounds charmed and privileged, but we know, you and I know how the money really works in
yeah.
tennis, but and all the jet lag and so forth. But I think, well, though with Alcaraz, his if he doesn't have the crowd, I think he loses, and it's pretty quick. And this is a I don't know if what is this, a hot take or something, but I don't, when
Serve it.
he
Serve that hot take.
sorry, when when he doesn't have the crowd, there is something that is he can't really get out of. He can't get out of disappointing the crowd. And I think when Djokovic and Alcaraz played at the Olympics, he did not have the crowd that day.
Mm,
And there was that loss, I think, to him was devastating, not just because he wanted to win a gold medal for his country and so forth. But I think it was more he felt they loved Djokovic that day more than him. They wanted they wanted Djokovic to have that gold.
Yeah.
And there I don't think he's had many of those moments where he lost the crowd and the match. That's something that
Yeah, the
I haven't
idea of
seen
him
much.
not having the crowd feels foreign. Like he is
Mm,
everybody loves
mm,
Carlos,
yeah.
and watching Carlos play tennis is a bit of an experience to unto itself. Like I'm extremely jealous and happy for you that you got a chance to see him live. Like play a match live. I haven't seen him play a match live, so I keep missing him in Miami. I go down there and he's either playing on the
Yeah.
day I'm not there,
Mm,
or like last year he lost early, so it just like it was weird. But um someone asked me like just 2 weeks ago, like who's your favorite player on tour right now? And I was like, I'll stop whatever I'm doing to watch Carlos Alcaraz play,
yeah.
regardless of like what round it is, what tournament it is. Like if I can, I will, because he makes you feel things. Like his tennis makes you feel
That's
like
right.
embodies like what it means to be a fan of a sport, like the feeling you get behind it. So,
Mm,
and I think that's whether or not he's your favorite player, if you're a Djokovic guy, if you're a center guy, whatever. I feel like
mm,
people like kind of universally feel that way about him.
that's right. Yeah. I think with Alcaraz, the crowd, he it means more. It feels like it means more to him when it's that way. The crowd is with him, he rewards the crowd as much as he possibly can. He's I guess you call him a pleaser in that way. He's somebody who and I feel the opponent can't stand that. I think about Sinner a lot in this situation. You know, whenever Alcaraz hit a forehand against Ruud when I was watching, a crowd in a Japanese crowd. I'm in Japan. I should say something about that crowd, and they're very disciplined. It's almost like a faux Wimbledon, I think. Whereas
Okay.
there aren't many people who are like, "Blah, blah, blah," is shouting at them like that or something. But they're just very buttoned down. But whenever Alcaraz hit a forehand, off of Ruud's beautifully set up backhand. Um, the crowd, there would be a tremor or this rumble that goes through the crowd. Oh, like, oh, like something like that. Like they it was just getting out of their seat a bit. Uh, and then that, and there were sometimes some sharp gasps. Like he had a couple forehands that had to have been over 100 miles an hour. And I, when he hit one, I was, oh, and there were 100 other people who had this like sharp gasp.
Right.
And I thought, who notices those sharp gasps? The opponent. The
R-
opponent
Oh
knows,
yeah.
right? We know that. When we play, if I'm playing you and you blast a shot pass, you blast a forehand past me, and I hear that gasp and the force of that forehand, that is really hard for me to take because number one, I don't have the crowd now. Number two, I'm backpedaling off of your shot. There's just so much tremendous force with having the crowd in the palm of your hand, as well as having an incredible forehand, of course, as well. But that to me, with Sinner, he knows every time he plays Alcaraz, he's like, I'll never have the crowd. I'll never have him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess short of like, well, they played in the final of Rome, which was obviously Jannik's first tournament back after
Rome, yeah,
suspension, and that he is the home guy there. But that one's hard to judge because of he didn't really have his sea legs under him quite yet.
true.
But I'd be curious to see as we roll back, same time next
Mhm.
year, like what does that look like? Sinner has a home Masters event. Carlos has a couple of events in Spain as well. If he plays Madrid anymore. I don't know if he will, but
True. Yeah.
even Barcelona or Monte Carlo is a little strange. Um,
Mhm.
it's not in Spain. It's in
Yeah.
France
Right.
technically, or it's in Monaco technically.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
um, yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Like even
Mm,
in the U.S., like when he comes to the States and he plays against American players, it still doesn't feel like
mm.
I mean American crowds get behind Americans, like especially at the U.S. Open full bore, but save for the asterisk of like Carlos Alcaraz. Like that guy's he's the real show.
That's it. That's it. I think maybe. I can only think of really forced moments, like maybe Ben Shelton in a semi at the U.S. Open against Alcaraz. When Shelton's
Yeah,
perfectly like if Shelton can get there without having any pain, I think, and Shelton can work the crowd really well, especially in the United States. And
they love him.
yeah, yeah.
They love him. I saw him play
Mm.
at the US Open in indoors. They were like, yeah, they had the roof shut, and there
Oh
were
wow.
people. We were in Louis Armstrong, and there were people sitting on the stairs, like the whole like mezzanine area where you walk around was packed, and I was like,
Wow.
wow, like people love Ben Shelton, and
Mm.
I've seen it on smaller scales, but at the US Open, like he's the guy, like he's the guy.
Right. I could see that too, and I think uh, with Shelton, I'm curious. You saw him, so can I ask? I want to ask how his serve looked. I mean, were the angle that you were at,
Yeah, so
or yeah?
I was in the corner, not to maybe the first or second row of the second tier in Louis Armstrong.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, right, I was right there, and I also watched him practice a little bit,
Mm.
and I've saw him in DC when I was there. So I've seen Ben. Oh, Jesus, I sat on the court basically
Oh
in
wow.
Dallas when I was there for that event, and he was actually practicing right next to Casper Ruud. Go figure.
Ah.
Um, yeah, Ben Serves got a lot of, Tori and I talk about him a lot. Like with all
Mm.
that he can do, you almost want him to simplify and do
Mm.
less, but basically go for that first serve a little bit more. He
Ah, I
does like
see.
to. I mean, he obviously he can hit it big, right? But his
Yeah.
maturation process is about hitting it big to spots, when it matters.
Mm.
That's kind of his
Uh,
evolution as a tennis player,
I see.
as a server specifically.
You don't think he's going to become more and more of a volleyer, I guess, or you think he's more of a he hits that serve to set up his forehand, just
He
no matter what, or
I would like to say I'm a little critical of Ben and probably overly critical of Ben, but I'm often reminded that he's still young, and even
true.
if he gets like 0.5% better, he's still young and he's still raw and he's a top 10 player already. So
Yeah.
with that being said, like he still has improvement ahead of him and
Mm.
he's super young. Like if you normalize some things out, he's projecting to be, top 5 in the world at some point here soon, which is wild to say when I look at him play and I'm like, because he still has so much like potential left to fill.
Yeah.
But like, do I feel like coming in is going to be on his menu? Like, absolutely. Like
Mm.
he has the want to come in. And while it doesn't look as refined as it could, like I think the want to come in is number one, and he's
Yeah,
looking for opportunities, and he covers the net pretty well, and he's a big dude. He's hard to pass, so
that's
sure,
true. Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Well, I think his best setup would be Wimbledon, wouldn't it? I mean, if they start to vary the court surfaces, which by
Yes.
the new controversy, which I feel so bad for Zverev. Federer unserved with Roddick, right?
Yeah.
Federer brings it up first. He's like, "Oh, I'm guilty. I do the same thing," and then he's like, "But yeah, they should change the surfaces." And then Zverev says almost the exact same thing, but just name drops Sinner and Alcaraz, and everyone's like, "Boo!" You know.
Yeah. Alex always looking for an excuse. Jesus. That guy.
I know. Yeah.
That guy.
But he has a point though on the services though. He didn't need to bring up the fact that they just want Sinner and Alcaraz in the final. I mean he shouldn't have said anything like that. But yeah, I do. It's not that the surfaces are playing the same, but Wimbledon needs to be fast. It needs to stay fast. I think. I don't know how
Yeah, I
you
mean,
feel
what
about that.
I watched this video on Vox Sports, I think. Vox,
Okay.
not Fox, Vox. And um they were talking about how like when the grass changed in either 2000 2001,
Yeah.
like it was drastically slower that year. Like, Federer I think won, like he won a Wimbledon serving and volleying almost exclusively, and
Hmm.
then won a Wimbledon without serving and volleying. It's like it happened like overnight. Um,
That's right.
and so like a lot of the hard courts are slowing down,
Hmm.
normalizing to a predictable pace across all of them. Um,
Yeah.
so like I do feel like that's one of the advantages of our sport that
Hmm.
allows like we have these different surfaces.
Yeah.
Um, which is another dimension to adjust to, which should allow for players with different game styles to, where they're not strong on grass, they could be a lot stronger on clay and vice versa. And kind of everyone should be, somewhat in the same space on hard. But I'm with you. Like, I do kind of miss that variation.
Yeah,
But with
yeah.
that being said, these tournaments are trying to they are trying to
That's
survive, right?
right. Yeah, I understand. Well, to me, Wimbledon has that. They don't need to be like on the baseline, just clay. I mean, to me, Wimbledon on the baseline right now, especially the quarters, semis, and finals, it's clay. It's just clay. Uh, but uh, anyway, I wanted to bring up one more thing that I noticed strategically during Alcaraz and Ruud, and it's kind of goes to a bunch of other times. You ever watch Medi when he plays and he's way back?
Yep.
I I used to think, oh, that's because Medi can just get any ball. Hit that way, that allows him to get any serve that comes his way. But when I watched Ruud do it, it was different. When I watched it live, and he did it to not so that he could get Alcaraz's ball. He did it for timing. And I now see like when Ruud was hitting a forehand way back, right next to the ball girl,
Yeah.
uh, it's longer and it disrupts Alcaraz's timing when he hits his forehand, and that was really interesting because Ruud.
Huh.
Yeah, I think that players go way back, not so much for the serve itself, but to disrupt a player from moving in the way or hitting at the time that they want.
Yeah, it
So
throws off the rhythm a little bit. Like there's
right,
somewhat
yeah,
of a cadence between serve, return, first ball. But if you can elongate that space between serve,
yeah,
return,
yeah,
first ball, yeah, play you off just a little bit.
yeah. That to me was really really fascinating, and I guess it also leads to people like Bublik who do underarm stuff, but it's people who are because they're so far back, but they're doing
Yeah,
that. They're doing that because that server has to wait one extra second to get in their get in the right place. So Alcaraz mishit both shots when Ruud did that. It was
interesting.
fascinating. Yeah. So
Okay.
I just wanted to bring that little tick up.
Well, let me
Just
let me ask you this though. Like, outside of the match itself,
yeah,
what's the you mentioned that the Japanese crowd is very reserved, faux
yeah.
Wimbledon-esque. What's it like in the stadium besides the hush? Like, I imagine, unlike a lot of other indoor events, there's no DJ, I assume.
Actually, there was a DJ.
There was a
There was a
DJ.
DJ.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, I love a DJ.
But that DJ got taken over a couple times with classical music. I don't know why. Suddenly there was just this, like Vivaldi's playing, and I'm thinking, what? Like, can you let that guy spin? I mean, you paid him. Let him. So
Oh, jeez.
I didn't. Anyway, the DJ did have some chances, but they played during the third set when Casper goes out. Casper's got a third set bag, by the way. That was
Okay,
interesting. This little mini bag that he
little
takes.
mini bag.
He goes off court, whereas Alcaraz is just again just sitting there like, yep, yep. And then he goes over to his team, and one of his team they were playing One More Time, which I think might qualify as the most overplayed song of all time. It's like our generation's celebration, I feel.
Yeah, very similar sounding too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so it's exhausting, but yeah, Alcaraz was yeah. So there was music and it was lively, but I would say Japan has the crowd. I would say, and this is from experience. The last three Japan Opens, they they are maddeningly neutral. They want to be neutral as much as possible. They or at least look like they are. They
Mm.
weren't. I mean, everybody wanted Alcaraz the whole time. But there were these let's go, like let's go Casper, and one guy would shout that, and and then chun chun chun, and then I'm always thinking, oh, this is Japan. Now someone's gonna feel like, oh no, Carlos is is ignored. So then someone goes, let's go, and then dun, dun, and then it goes to Casper, then it goes back to Al.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's and I thought, oh come on guys, this is a just just cheer for whoever you want. But there were at least 20 Spanish flags, 3 Norwegian flags. I counted them.
Okay.
I get a little obsessed with that stuff.
No,
But
that's super interesting. Like, so, but at the event itself, like, are you able? Do they have practice courts on site? Can you go watch practice?
yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's
okay,
where the real where the real joy is. I saw Shelton. Why I brought it up with you about Shelton is because I did see Shelton practice
okay,
2 years ago
yeah,
when he won it here, and I yeah, watching the practice courts is probably where the crowds get really obsessed. And uh, I know this podcast is a PG, but I want to bring
eh,
up,
eh,
or
eh,
not.
yeah. There's an E tag on it. I think we're safe here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at the end of the match, all these cameras were swarming around Alcaraz, and I guess this is the time when he takes off his shirt, and so he was pulled off his shirt, and there was this one woman who had filled in next to me, and she had not reacted at all to the match for 2 hours. She'd just been so still, and I wondered, like, does she know what's going on? And then when Alcaraz took off his shirt, she just leaned in, and she's like studying every single part of his body. And then I think she was with her boyfriend, and then the boyfriend was like he muttered something. I couldn't hear it, but yeah. And then she was like, like, leave me alone, this is my moment.
It's
I
like you
thought,
brought me here.
you brought me
You're
here.
gonna let me enjoy this how I want to enjoy this.
Exactly, yeah. I think that was pretty funny. But
That's
yeah.
yeah. I'm always interested in, like, indoor tennis in itself. Probably not my favorite.
Hmm.
Been to a handful of indoor events, and it just feels, I don't know. I can only stay inside and watch tennis for so long. It feels like a
Right.
time warp. But I feel like going to see one or two matches is the sweet spot, and
Yeah.
um, it's good that the energy was good.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I think with Alcaraz, Japan has warmed up to him to such a point where he's as loved as maybe even Federer was back in his prime. No, I think
Okay.
it's pretty close. I
And
think
last year he didn't play the event last year, right? He was in
this is the
Beijing
first
last year. This is his
time.
first time. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was monstrous. The crowds, and I think, um, yeah, when there was one thing about mixing drinks. Did did you have a what did you drink when you were like was there something you had to drink, or did you like you mixed? Because I watched Alcaraz he had just broken Rude, and he'd finished his bottle, and he's shaking it at one of his guys. The guy I
Yeah.
told you had like this massive mixer right to his left, and he guy put his thumb up, and then he starts just making this cocktail. I
Yeah.
don't know what it was. I wish I had binoculars because I wanted to know everything he was putting in that drink. And that guy was just shaking it like this, like a margarita or a daiquiri or something, but I don't know. But anyway, he's just and then the ball girl took it from the guy and brought it over
Sure.
to Alcaraz. And I I wondered what the hell is in that drink? What is he doing? And I would love to know. Maybe on a future pod, I'll check out and see what people drink. What do people drink at the professional level? Like what? Because when I would sometimes this is outing me. I would have like a Coca-Cola during the changeover, but not because I wanted the Coke, but I wanted the other player to know how unserious I'm taking that person.
Oh my
It's like,
God, this all makes so much sense now. I mean,
so
I know that they're actively replacing what they're losing, right? So it's some
yeah.
combination of, and obviously I don't know the right calibration of this, but it's some
Mm,
combination of proteins and carbohydrates and electrolytes, like, and you want to be
yeah.
taking it in, regularly with these, every changeover you're taking in about the same amount, and
Uh,
it's pretty dialed in.
yeah.
Uh, so, but yeah, I mean, I feel like this is knowable. I actually have a buddy who he played at Auburn, and he's I think he has his master's in sports science and nutrition, and he often talked about, like, you could get a lot of the benefits
Right.
like as opposed to like a tailor-made drink like that. Like actually drinking a Coca-Cola, like a sip of it, like on each changeover, you can get a lot of those things
Oh, really?
that you're losing. It was just, I'll have to have him maybe come on, and it'd be good to catch up with him anyways. But
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
talk about like the nutrition aspect. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna
Mm.
little note there.
I only had one more question for you, and it's a who do you want the top eight to be?
In Turin.
Yeah. Who do you want
Oh,
the
this
AJ?
is
Sorry,
yeah. This is my
this was random.
no. I like it. This is my sweet spot, right? Because
Okay.
I went to the year-end championships a couple years ago, and
Oh, wow.
I wanted more out of the feeling of being there. Like I want something at stake. I am on team make Turin matter.
Mm,
Um
me too. Yeah.
and I would love nothing more than like the top two players to come in and like whoever wins this event becomes year finishes the year number one. Like I want that so badly, and I don't know if it's gonna happen this year because you know we're starting to see some
Yeah.
points roll off for center, and Alcaraz has got nothing but green space in front of him. But to answer your
Mm,
question, I'm gonna kind of do this on the fly here. Obviously, those top two are
yeah.
pretty
Mm.
set, and like is this like a wish list, or like am I going off of like some combination of who is going to make it and then who I want to sneak
Well,
in
I
and
think
make it?
I think we got four who it's no doubt, right? I mean, but
So you got
after
Alcaraz center,
yeah.
Joker. He's not going to play, but let's put him in anyways. I would
Wait,
love to.
did the Joker already bow out of that? He's not
He
gonna.
hasn't shown up for that event in a while. Like he's not gonna play.
Ah,
He's not gonna play.
really?
I'd love to see
Okay.
Taylor Harry Fritz in there.
Okay.
I would
Yeah, this
like
is a
to
good year for
see
him.
Demonor in there. I just
Did
feel
you
like he's gonna bring it indoors. Go ahead.
did you watch him go with against Sinner
No, I
recently?
missed it. I
Like,
was in Africa. I missed
oh
everything.
yeah, that one. Wow, you got to watch those highlights. Just of
Okay.
Sinner and Diminar went all out. I've never seen him hit the ball harder against somebody. And he just, I think he went into that match and he says, I'm guns a blazing. Like I don't care. Like
Well, I mean, he
I,
better. He's like owing everything against him. So
That's
like,
it. That's it. I think either the coach said, look, dude, it's like what you're doing is not working. Can you just blast the ball for 2 hours against this guy and see what happens?" And yeah, I've never seen him hit that hard. It's so clear that
and he got a
he's
set,
trying.
so that's good.
Yeah, he did. He did
Okay.
get a set. And
Okay.
I think after that he was exhausted. But
Oh my God. Yeah,
um
11 and 0 lifetime. That's
yeah.
maybe I
Yeah.
don't want Alex in the tournament.
I want to see him try one more time now that he understands what he has to do. But maybe I don't know.
And we talk about Alex de Minaur like he's 33 or something. The dude's 26. Like he's
I
got
know. I
him and
know.
Casper are both 26. They're young. Like they're in their prime. They're entering their prime, which is wild.
Mm,
Like
mm,
wild. So back to your question though. Yeah, those top three. Give me Taylor. Give me Demon. That's five.
okay.
I don't really want to see Zverev there. He'll probably qualify, but I don't have to in this world. I don't have to count him, right? I don't have to. I want Bublik in there.
Oh wow, wow.
One, two,
Bublik,
three.
king of the 250s.
Exactly. And this is a two. This is 2 out of 3 sets. A
Yeah.
little round robin in the beginning. Indoor. I like it. I also
Mm.
want Big Bad Ben Shelton in there.
Oh, me
One, two,
too.
three,
Me
four,
too.
5, 6, 7. That's 7.
Yeah.
Who else do I actually want there?
I don't want to
That
say who, because you guys are giving him a hard time.
I'm not gonna put Zverev in there. I don't want him there. I just
Oh
don't
no,
want
no,
him
not
there.
him. It's a
Uh,
Lorenzo. Yeah.
he's Italian. Boom, Lucetti.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes, my guy,
Just
Lorenzo.
maybe don't tell Tori. Yeah.
Yeah, jeez, yeah, and I mean Lorenzo's not helping himself out. He's pissing off the Chinese crowd, and it's not a good look for him. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like that.
True. True.
I like that lineup. I'm entertained by that lineup. I want to be
Hmm.
there. I want a ticket. I feel like Musetti versus like Demonor indoors would
Oh,
be
that'd
just
be
a lot of
wonderful.
fun. Like a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I got no
I,
problem with that.
yeah. I like. I would pay to watch Shelton play Bublik. I would love that. That would be pretty cool.
especially if it got
And
a little angsty.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
That'd be
I think
even better.
that's guaranteed. I feel
I
Bublik's out to make people feel angsty, isn't he? I
Yeah,
feel
hey,
that.
he's gonna want to take it there. Ben
Hmm,
is down to handle it for sure. He's
I
about
think
that
so.
life, but
Yeah. Hmm,
I think that actually would backfire against Bublik because I think that gives Ben
hmm.
just a little bit of that college atmosphere that he thrives in. So yeah, let's get
Yeah.
get get nasty.
That's it.
I love
That's
it.
it, isn't it? You
What
know.
about you? Who am I in the list that I gave you? Who's not on your list?
Well, let's see. I I don't hate Fritz at all. In fact, I respect him quite a bit. I feel the way I feel about him the way Todd Martin was in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah, I feel
I
like I've said that before. Like, yeah, Todd
okay.
Martin. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I feel Fritz whenever I watch him play. Uh, Mad respect for him, mad respect. But I always just want like a little bit more out of the box stuff. So I can't really put my finger on it, but Fritz, he'll make it, I'm sure. I know he's built his entire schedule around this accomplishment, I think. But I don't know. I miss Medi. I really do. I miss Medvedev, but he's just so done, I think. I think he's had such a terrible year for
yeah.
compared to his others, but I don't.
I, I feel like someone like Medvedev. So he's
Hmm,
currently sitting at 20 in the world, and
yeah, yeah.
I think Tori made this comment a couple months ago about thinking I can't remember what player he referenced, but he referenced a player like within a year or two being done,
Hmm,
and that kind of hit me in a strange way because I think I've been so used to these great players playing till they're 35 years old.
right.
But when you go back and look at like what historically has happened for the
Hmm,
vast majority of players, like yeah, 30, 31, they're about done. They start
done. Yeah.
they start sliding, they lose a step or two, and then the younger players usurp them, and that becomes normal. And I mean, outside of Djokovic, there's no player in the top 20 that is 30 years old yet. And you've got Hachinov at 29 years old, and then Talon Griekspoor is 29, and so is Medvedev. So
Yeah.
when you look at it that way, it's like, yeah,
He
that's
had his
about
run.
right.
He
Like
had his run.
that's about right. He peaked at between 26 and 28, and
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
he's on the other side of that without huge gifts and huge
Hmm,
weapons to
yeah.
rely on. Um,
Well,
yeah, that should be it.
yeah. Well, I'm worried about that with Tommy Paul, who's probably my favorite American player. I love watching Tommy Paul play anybody because it's just how he constructs points, how the ball comes off his racket. Just to me, it's so he has different angles than other players, and so I think in my top eight, I'd love to see Tommy Paul sneak in there, maybe get past Lorenzo. Apologies to my wife who loves Lorenzo.
A lot of the wives love
Mm,
Lorenzo.
yeah, absolutely. But I think, yeah, I'd love Tommy Paul to me, but I wanted to go back to Prime real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's you had mentioned like, oh, Ruud's in his prime and so forth. But uh, I, the way tennis is played now, don't you feel like the prime for a tennis player is now like 23, 24?
Uh, no,
No? Okay,
no. And I'll turn that back. I'll kick it back to you. Why do you feel
sure.
that way?
Okay. Well, I'm thinking back, Djokovic's season, that season where he went from uh, one great player to all time. I feel it was about 2011, 2012.
Okay.
And he was 24
Yep.
at that time. And now with Alcaraz younger and Sinner younger, I know that's maybe they're outliers, maybe they're anomalies, and we can't really say that they would shape this prime idea. But I do think there is a fine line between being too experienced and being too experimental
Hmm.
in a tennis player's life, and I think you got to be young enough to take risks in a match that gets you that Grand Slam. And I think 24 seems right to me. 24, 25, and then after that, there does seem to be a drop, and that's just my thought on that.
I think what we're getting into is the nuance, and this is the space for nuance. Like,
Ooh,
how do you define one's peak or
yeah.
their prime? And it's like I like to use this magical 3-year window where you're going to
Hmm.
amass the highest your highest ranking and your best results, and that should happen somewhere. I mean, we can fudge it a little bit. Maybe it's not 26 to 28. Maybe it's 25 to 27.
Hmm.
Whatever. 25 to 28. But that that I think that relies on there being a normal distribution of players' age that are actually in the top 100 at that time, and
Hmm.
like let's even narrow it down to like a normal distribution of players that get to the round of 16 of a Grand Slam at any given point in time. And I think that's the part where we're starting to, the math is off because there aren't a lot of players between Sinner's age
Hmm.
and Djokovic's age. Like this is what the big three did. They swallowed up generations of champions. They took 3 whole generations of
Yeah.
champions, would be champions, and they
Hmm.
never happened. So like the Tsitsipas's, the Zverevs, like
Right.
should under normal circumstances should be walking around with 3, 4 Grand Slams in their pockets and being the big dogs on tour, but they had to deal with those guys in that space where they were supposed to be breaking through at 21, 22, 23, and in their experimental phrase, and they never did. They never figured out what it was like to win a Grand Slam and then take that knowledge and then start to stack Grand Slams on top of it.
Hmm.
The big three took that from them, and then you get these other two who have not been encumbered by
Right.
that. They're just kind of free to do what players, like great players, naturally do when there aren't these like Mount Rushmore players, like, you know, casting a shadow on the tour.
That's it. Yeah, and I think also you're bringing up a good point about the all timers, the ones who they get inside their own bubble, and they have no choice but to adapt their game so that they stay above the other. And there is inspiration, there's motivation in that, right? And they can keep going. I'm wondering how Alcaraz can change his game when he can no longer capitalize on his athleticism.
God, yeah, that's a great question because how far away are we from that?
Right.
Like my guy's 22 years old. Like we got a good while before that's a problem, and
Okay.
I I feel like it's even less. How is he going to have to adapt his game? It's like how is he going to stay motivated?
That's the thing. Yeah. I don't know how he would stay motivated. To me, it's a going back to your 3-year window. I think we're in the 3-year window of Alcaraz. And I think at 25, the guy's going to be sitting on probably 9 to 10 Grand Slams at least.
Yeah.
And there he is with 10. He's 25. He's a complete player. If Sinner's not keeping up with him, does he continue to push forward? Can he adapt his game? Because I know there will be players who are 20, 21 who are more athletic than him, who excite the crowd a bit more because they're new. So in my mind, we have this, and it's glorious, this glorious 3-year window with Alcaraz and Sinner. But after that, it's up to them to have to adapt their games the way that Nadal and Djokovic and Federer did too. Fed never get Fed gets, of course, tons of credit, but he never gets enough credit for his late career changes. He
Yeah.
really tried. He
I mean,
really
yeah, I mean
tried. Yeah.
2017 to 2019 Fed was like
Wow.
that was as almost as amazing to like as amazing as like '06 to '08 Fed, like cuz I think it was harder.
Yeah.
It
There
was
was that
harder.
there was that popular Kyrgios clip where he says, Kyrgios says that, oh yeah, made me feel like embarrassed to be there, or just not a,
Right.
he was the one who made me feel like I couldn't do anything. And then I was thinking, yeah, dude, you played him when he was 34. Yeah, he was 34, I think, when that
Yeah,
with
it
that match
was.
he's talking. I mean, 34 years old, and he's doing that. And
Well, this is
yeah,
here's the problem that I think it's not I guess it is a bit of a problem, maybe an existential one. Like Carlos being so young, like
yeah,
if someone, well, I think we're all kind of on the same page with like no one who's ahead of him in age is the problem, right?
mm,
They're not no one ahead of him in age is gonna be a problem. Like it's everyone behind him that you would have to consider. And
true.
of the players who are, in the top 100 right now and younger than him, like
Mm,
there's only like 6 of them. There's
right.
only 6 players in the top 100 younger than Carlos. So like he's
Wow.
still really young.
Mm,
And some of them, right? It's the Fonseca and
Fonseca.
Jakovincic and Arthur Feast. Like those are the ones that
Oh,
you
Feast. I
are.
love watching Feast. But yeah,
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 I
yeah, yeah.
like those are the guys, and like
Mm,
even Lerner Tien, and I'm gonna talk about Lerner at some point before this year's
yeah,
over.
right,
And then
right.
Mickelson and Ethan Quinn's making a nice little run, but like, and then
Mm,
he and Ben and Holger are the same age, but like from what I've seen so far, if it's not one of those guys, which he's got a 6 slam lead on all these guys. Like
right.
maybe one of them becomes the Djokovic of the group.
Mm,
Maybe um, the person that could push him is in juniors right now. Like
yeah.
is
Wow.
getting
You're
their
right.
driver's license right now. Like we don't know them, which
No, we
is
don't.
that just kind of leads me to think like
Mm.
the runway is at least 4 or 5 years.
Oh, he's okay. You're going to 5, eh?
Yeah, which is like for him that's 27, but for Jannik, who's also more injury prone, that's 29, and that's the guy that I'm actually worried about. I'm worried about Jannik like playing out to 30 at this level.
Uh,
I'm not necessarily worried about Carlos.
you you think Carlos can adapt his game more more easily than Sinner? Is that what you're saying?
I think Carlos has all options available to him,
Mm.
all of them, like all of them. What does he need to do? Like his serve
That's
has gotten
87
better.
MJ talk again.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
you watched MJ in 87. You're like, he can do anything he wants. Whatever
Yeah,
he
but
wants to
like
do, he can do it. Yeah.
the Carlos's version of MJ's 3-pointer was probably his serve, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he's tightened that up this year too. So like that will continue to get incrementally better.
Mm.
And he's also found his version of safety. So like
Yeah.
right now, like Carlos he's playing obviously the best tennis of his career, and he's still adding things, and he's enjoying the challenge that Jannik provides him. I feel like he's there. It's Jannik's fitness that I worry about. Like
Yeah.
it seems to keep happening to him.
Yeah. The
Um,
cramps, right? Just happening. Yes. Right.
it's something. He's a little,
Mm.
he got sick in Cincinnati, and hell,
Yeah.
Holger had him dead to rights in Australia too, and he pulled a rabbit out of the hat. So
That's
I
it.
feel like that's the one I'm concerned about over the course of the next 5 years. Like how many times is Jannik going to not be able to
Mm.
bring full force in a Grand Slam, where Carlos is just a matter of like, is he locked in? Is he in a good place? He can do it all.
That's
And
it. That's it.
someone's going to have to. I honestly feel like we've talked about Mensick, we've talked about Fonseca. I feel like
Mm.
Feast is the guy. He just has some more work to do. Could be a guy. But besides that, it's like,
You bring
eh,
up Mensick. I think I want to talk a lot more about him. I think he's there. I think he could be there. He's not showing it yet, but I haven't watched enough to really say that. But when I remember seeing at least 2 of his matches, start to finish, he might have some of the weapons, but I don't know if he can put it all together in a Grand Slam. But he's maybe somebody I would think out of the young guns. I would say he's the guy.
yeah, I've been
Yeah.
impressed. I've been impressed with him. He's got the tools. He's got the tools. I just don't know. Yeah, I've yet to see those tools
Mm.
in a best out of 5 set match. Like
Right.
it seems like fitness is
Yeah, that's
the
the thing.
next piece for him. He's got to commit to getting in ridiculous shape, like
Yeah.
ridiculous shape, so that he can be a threat. When it's hot and it's 3 out of 5, as opposed to being a 500 and 250 champ. Well, he did
Yeah.
win a Masters event in Miami,
That's
but
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we are right now. That's where we are.
Well,
Yeah, I
thank you.
think
Yeah.
no, I think this was good. This is good.
Yeah.
I like when we get together and chat about these things, and especially I love getting first person perspective.
Oh,
So
wow.
we'll keep doing that. I think we got a lot of cool stuff that we can volley back and forth here over these the doldrums of the tennis calendar. But it's for you, like you're where it's at, baby.
It's
You're in the right time zone right now.
I am. I am. This was incredible, and I can't thank you enough. This has been boiling in my mind all week, and I was just like, I gotta talk to Alvin. I gotta tell him. I gotta tell him. I gotta tell him about the changeovers and all this stuff. So, yeah, yeah, much appreciated. This was a blast. So.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, we'll put a pin in it there. I'm still Alvin. Pat, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Best of 3. We are out.